Ta-da, Jim Carrey, the human firework of emotions on screen and, as it turns out, off-screen too. Let's dive into the stormy romantic whirlpool of this rubber-faced Hollywood legend, garnished with a pinch of humor. Get comfy, because Jim Carrey's love life isn't just a romantic timeline. It's a full-blown tragicomedy in several acts. We've got sudden sparks of passion, public breakups, rumors, and quotes worthy of a stand-up special. Melissa Womer, 1987 to 1995. Melissa was a waitress at a comedy club where young, ambitious Jim was perfecting his craft. Picture this. He's telling hilarious stories on stage while she's serving him a burger with a straight face. That contrast probably sparked the connection. They got married, had a daughter named Jane, and for a moment, it looked like the classic domestic bliss, straight out of a Carrey-style early 90s comedy. But they said Jim's wild energy didn't always stay on stage. There were whispers about his impulsiveness and his need to constantly be the center of attention, which may have drained the calmer Melissa. And then there were the groupies. Lots of them. In the end, as they say, love isn't always laugh-out-loud funny. They finalized the divorce in 1995. She got around $7 million. He got freedom. And a very loud echo. Lauren Holly, 1996 to 1997. They met on the set of Dumb and Dumber. Imagine, Lloyd Christmas and Mary Swanson falling in love not just on screen, but in real life. The relationship moved as fast as a van chase scene. They got married just months after getting together. At the wedding, rumor has it Jim was so excited he danced with the cake. Unconfirmed, but believable. 10 months later, divorce. Why? Some say jealousy. Some say Jim's odd habits. One rumor claims he hired security to spy on Lauren, suspecting infidelity. She was living with 3 different people, she allegedly told friends. Renée Zellweger, 1999 to 2000. Jim and Renée met while filming Me, Myself, and Irene. He was the charismatic madman with A-list status. She was the rising star with gentle grace. Their chemistry was so strong that even the makeup artists and producers noticed. Jim started behaving more seriously. People joked it was the first time he actually listened to another human being. There were rings, dinners, even wedding talks. She seemed to be the anchor in his emotional storm. He called her the love of my life, until he switched gears into a deep philosophical phase. What went wrong? 3 theories. 1. He panicked. Jim reportedly told friends, "I don't deserve her," and emotionally ghosted. 2. She realized she was living in a permanent stand-up show. 3. They were in different phases, her career just taking off, his already cracking under fame's pressure. The breakup was quiet. But years later, Jim still spoke about her with a certain wistfulness. In interviews, he called her the one he could have grown old with. She simply said, "I wish him well." Her fans still quote his declarations. Jim's fans prefer to forget, or pretend it was just the plot of a sad romantic comedy, without the happy ending. Jenny McCarthy, 2005 to 2010. When Jim and Jenny got together, tabloids played the victory anthem. The dream couple had arrived. He was a global sweetheart, a meme before memes existed, with a poet's heart behind the faces. She was an actress, TV host, and former Playboy girl, with a surprisingly serious mission, raising awareness about autism and caring for her son. Together, they seemed like opposites that fit perfectly. Jim wasn't just wildly famous. He was, as he said, searching for real intimacy. Jenny, fresh from divorce and motherhood challenges, needed someone who accepted her whole story. Jim didn't just accept, he embraced. He supported her campaigns, was active in her son Evan's life, and some even said he became like a second father. Fans melted. Headlines read, "How Jim Carrey Finally Grew Up." Jenny called him the light of my life. But Hollywood idols often hide shadows. In 2010, Jim tweeted a surprisingly dry message. "Jenny and I have just ended our 5-year relationship. I'm grateful for the many blessings we've shared, and I wish her the very best. No drama, no scandal, just over." Insiders claimed the tension had been building for months. In interviews, Jenny admitted they tried to make it work, but sometimes things just don't align no matter how hard you try. Jim, as usual, joked through the sadness. "Life's not a rehearsal, and sometimes one scene matters more than the whole play. No war, just closure." She moved on, married Donnie Wahlberg. He withdrew further into painting, meditating, and stopped appearing in love columns altogether. Anastasia Vitkina, 2011 to 2012. Anastasia was a student at NYU when ever-restless Jim took notice. This sparked a swirl of gossip, the age gap, the cultural differences. Some said she brought him the calm he desperately needed. Others whispered it was just a fling, and that Jim's high-voltage personality eventually overwhelmed the relationship. There were rumors that Anastasia grew tired of paparazzi and couldn't quite adapt to the Hollywood chaos. Cathriona White, 2012 to 2015. Cathriona was a makeup artist, and their on-again, off-again relationship ended in tragedy. In 2015, she took her own life. What followed was a storm. Letters, accusations, lawsuits. Her family claimed Jim provided the substances she used. Jim denied all charges. In 2018, all accusations were dismissed. But the scar remained, not just on his bio, but on his face. After that, Jim all but vanished from public life. Gonzaga, 2018 to 2019. At a time when fans and tabloids wondered if Jim had retreated too deeply into his philosophical shell, read rumors of depression, he re-emerged with a new partner. Gonzaga, actress and stand-up comic, met Jim on the set of Kidding, where, ironically, they played a couple. On red carpets and social events, they looked happy, effortless, and strikingly photogenic. Jim called her incredibly talented and amazing. She bashfully smiled through the compliments. Fans sighed in relief. Maybe he finally found peace. But Hollywood being Hollywood, the fairy tale didn't last. Just months later, they stopped appearing together. Rumors followed. She was too normal for him, and he was too Jim Carrey for anyone. One headline said, "She, witty and grounded, reportedly preferred a simpler life. He, ever the eccentric whirlwind, lived in a world of his own design." Now Jim says he's in a relationship with himself. He paints, meditates, and shares quotes like, "Take off the mask to become who you are." Maybe it's enlightenment. Maybe it's a personal rebrand. Or maybe just an intermission before the next unwritten act. Jim Carrey in love is like Jim Carrey in comedy. Sudden, loud, sometimes too much, and almost always with tears in his eyes. They say clowns have the saddest eyes for a reason.